Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Golden Ratio podcast. I am Jen, GR Mom, joined as always by GR Dad.
Hi.
How's it going, GR Dad?
Good.
Excellent, excellent. We're going to do No Rules podcast this week.
Woo!
Woo! It feels like we don't need the rules right now.
No rules for fools.
Okay.
Or something like that. Because it's more cools.
So since we're doing no rules, we don't have a cocktail of the week this week, but we are drinking the après-ski Swizzle, which we have done as cocktail of the week in the past.
Seems like you're sneaking in some rules.
I just want to talk about this cocktail because I was saying to you before, like, it's a very strong cocktail. It's 1.5 ounces of rum and then 3/4 ounce of chartreuse, but chartreuse is like quite high proof. And I love this. Like, it is the perfectly designed drink for me. It's got pineapple juice, a little lime juice. It's like a tiki kind of drink, a swizzle. And I made it, and we were out like watching the sunset, and I was like, I like this drink so much that like I'm only like 1/4 of the way through the first one, and I'm already thinking about wanting a second one. It's so dangerous because then I'm just like absolutely toast.
It's like a Halloween candy kind of
I have
drink.
all sorts of plans. I have to give a lecture tonight still.
Yeah, but
Did we forget about that? I mean, it's going to be a great lecture.
not for me.
I'm not having a second drink.
I hope I don't get a lecture from you. Has a whole different meaning. I don't need no lectures.
These people want me a lecture.
Also, I like the word swizzle because it reminds me of a nice dog.
Yeah.
I mix
It's
it
a
up with
Swizz.
sizzle.
It's the Swizz.
Yes.
It's a teeny tiny pal named the Swizz.
Man, she was loud. She was a barky girl.
For those of you who have joined us since Swizz, she was a teeny tiny rescue dog. She was 14.
She had huge problems.
She was left. Her owner, I guess, had dementia,
Right.
right? And like,
Couldn't take care of herself or the dog. Was that her?
yeah, and then got institutionalized. And so Swizz was about the same size as Feta. But so Feta weighs what, 50 pounds, 55.
Mm-hmm.
And the Swizz was right about that size.
Yeah, which for us was teeny tiny at the time.
That's why we called her the teeny tiny dog named the Swizz. But when she got rescued, so her owner got taken to, a facility to get taken care of.
Right.
And then there was the Swizz, and I think there was another dog in the house, and nobody in the family wanted them, so they just show up once or twice a week and like throw some dog food in the house and then leave.
It sounds horrifying. If this were a dog horror movie, it couldn't be worse.
Yeah, so she weighed 25 pounds when they rescued her, which, like, can you imagine? And so she had extreme anxiety, especially around food. And this was like, I remember being here, and it was like, it must have been like early lockdown, and she would bark at us the entire time
when
we were
ate,
eating.
she would like get into this panic of, I mean, it clearly triggered all her PTSD and fear and everything. Yeah.
So we occasionally, like once or twice, she was asleep while we were eating, and we were like, don't make any noise. We can eat without being barked
I guess
at.
we're having mashed potatoes tonight so it doesn't crunch and wake her up.
But we used to like go out on the porch with just her and her bowl of food for dinner, and then I would chuck one nugget at a time across the porch, so she'd have to go chase it and
or a
find
French
it
fry.
and eat it.
Oh no, her nugget. Yeah,
Her
it was
nuggets,
her food,
yeah.
Extreme, snuffle food.
So it was just like one nugget at a time. So then she would be she'd still bark, but not as much, but she'd be sort of distracted having to go fetch each individual nugget. That's how we had to eat dinner for like
Wasn't she mostly deaf
months.
too?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
We went through a whole bunch of dogs at that point.
Yep.
Like hospice. She wasn't a hospice case, but obviously, she was 14. We didn't have her very long. But
Poor Swizz.
yeah, she was a good one though. I mean,
she was real nice.
crazy, but she was a very sweet little girl. And so small. There's a great picture of her standing under Guac in the kitchen.
Guac was a giant when we got him. He was so much bigger than everyone else.
Yeah, he's a tall boy.
He is tall. He's got those legs.
So anyway, the après-ski Swizzle. All Swizzles are in honor of the Swizz, and this is a great drink. I love it so much.
Yep.
Okay. Things that I have for us to talk about are the hurricane, stuff Ella has eaten this week. We do have to give a Brody update, and then
How much time do we have for that middle thing?
I know. About an hour, and then I have to go prepare to give
then
my
we
talk.
won't get a complete list.
Let's start with stuff Ella has eaten. Today, she ate my headphones for this podcast. Only one ear works now because she chewed through the wires on the other side.
What did she eat earlier out of the podcast box?
She ate the foam off my microphone. So I have fresh foam today, the little black cover on the microphone.
Oh, my God.
She ate half a stick of butter. She tried to eat half a stick of butter, and I heard her. And I went in and I saw her with it in her mouth and I pried it out of her mouth. So she did not get to eat it. And it was half a stick because that's all I took out of the fridge.
That must be one of her big regrets is that she didn't get that half a stick of butter.
She was going to try to swallow that whole lump like with that. She saw me coming in. She's like, can I swallow it? Gulp, gulp. No, it's too big. Yeah. We had her in at the vet for more of her like peeing problems, which seemed to be nothing.
She just likes to pee inside.
But her belly was like quite full, and I was like, "Could you check that?" And the Dr. Faith was like, "Oh yeah, that it's big." It's like, "Did she eat a sock or something?" I'm like, "I don't know, man."
Probably.
Like, you want to do an X-ray? They did an X-ray, and she just ate a lot of something. But she's like, "There's a tiny thing in there." I'm like, "It's probably a rock. It's fine." Like a little pebble.
I mean, the sea grapes are in season, so she's eating those again.
Yeah.
And as are her sisters.
I like that, like, one thing she did this week was get into the bottom cabinet where we have a picture of Voods with his head stuck in that cabinet. She got in there and she ate an entire bag of dog treats.
She sure did.
And I was like, Ingo, that's very dangerous because they can bloat. And so we need to do something about that. We have a baby gate for the kitchen. So we either need to get that baby gate closed or I'm going to have to childproof the cabinets. And Ingo's like, yeah, you should childproof the cabinets. And I told that to Dr. Faith and she's like, hey, at least he knows his limitations.
I know my limitations. You know how distracted I get? And all of a sudden there's several dogs in the kitchen with me or in the cabinet. She also tried to eat a Keurig cup.
Oh, I saw a video of that maybe. She brought me one maybe.
Yeah, she brought you one.
Yeah. She ate your Celsius can in the car.
Oh, yeah. I was driving Remy to Miami for his cancer checkup.
Fort Lauderdale.
Lauderdale. It's further than Miami. It was the day of the
day before
the storm. And as I was driving back, Ella insists on being in the passenger seat because she's kind of still fits, but also because she can climb over and you can't put her anywhere. She'll end up right back there. So she insists. So she was there, kind of messing around, and all of a sudden I just get hit with this fine misty spray of cold liquid that was my Celsius can that was in the center console that she had put a pinhole hole into that was just spraying out onto me under pressure. So I had to kind of shotgun it, put my mouth on the hole and hold the can sideways and try to drink it as fast as possible. God. I did end up opening it like a shotgun, involuntarily. Also, not intending to do that. That was not in the plan. She was quite pleased with herself. She loves cans.
Mm-hmm. Like Voods.
Full, empty, everything.
Yep. I had to stop a Zoom meeting because I heard her eating something, but it was just a shoebox. No shoes in it.
Yeah, she does eat cardboard. A lot.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, it's just anything. She had half an emery board the other day.
Oh, all dogs love emery boards.
It's got to be terrible.
I think it feels
teeth.
Interesting on their teeth.
Yeah, interesting is right. Yeah. The terrible.
Yep.
But it was gone. Half of it was gone. And it could have been. I mean, Zola's an instigator too. Zola does not discourage her. She doesn't teach her anything good.
Yep.
Zola pulls it out and then goes, check it out. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? She's definitely eaten pieces of dryer balls during the week. Mm-hmm. She tries to go under the table and chomp it there, and so no one will see her.
Terrible dog.
And sometimes it works. I gotta say, sometimes it does work. Yeah, she's really the definition of when it's quiet. You gotta make sure she's not quietly eating her way through the wall or something.
Voods. It's just another
such a Voods. Have you seen the legs of all our furniture? She's
trying to eat the furniture.
I mean, she's doing a
chewing the furniture.
Effective job. It's like that guy who ate a Jeep in bits and pieces. She will have eaten an entire table in a year. But she seems quite happy doing it.
Yep.
Now she's tired, and then she just sacks out and acts like she hasn't been a terror all day.
So there you go. That's the Ella update.
Yeah. We still kind of want to keep her, though.
She's cute.
She's not quite up for adoption yet.
As you mentioned, you went up to the oncologist with Remy, and he's doing great.
He's doing the same. He's got those big lymph nodes in his neck, but apparently that's just the way he is now.
So he does have lymphoma. He just has extremely lazy lymphoma that has not progressed in like 2 years.
All it has done is made his lymph nodes slightly larger.
Yep.
That's like, and then it rested.
And then it's like, I'm done.
And then it was tired.
This is enough.
And then it rested.
Yep.
And he seems to be doing okay.
Yeah.
We he's playing when he can, and he did have an escapo right around a few days before the storm. He snuck away and figured out he can go to the neighbors. Now there was thunder, and he was kind of freaking out. But I was watching. I mean, it was literally a minute. I was watching Guac jump off the dock to get a ball. Looked around, and I was down a dog. And he just snuck over. So
I was out walking Guac today, and our friend who does landscaping for a bunch of people on the block, he was like leaving, so he stopped and talked to me. And he's like, when I was leaving a few days ago, I'm like looking around, and I look at the fence, and there's a dog like coming over the fence with a leash on. And then there's Ingo also coming over the fence. And I was like, he didn't tell me about that. And then I was like, oh, it was like at our neighbor's house. I'm like, that's because Remy escaped. He's like,
and the gate was locked.
Yeah, we do have keys to their gate.
Well, not at that time.
So he's like, yeah, it was weird. Just all of a sudden, this dog like passed over the.
Yeah, I had to lift him over the 5-foot fence.
Yep.
Put him down on the other side gently.
Yep.
And then climb over myself. And then I saw Brian, the landscaping guy, and I just like waved at him.
That's what he said. He's like, he waved and then walked away. And I was like, I guess everything's fine.
Well, I didn't want to get engaged. The guy has stories. So I just didn't, I was already kind of angry at Remy and didn't want to deal with it.
I bet you were.
Frustrated.
So anyway, Remy's going to continue to be with us for a while. Unless he successfully escapes.
That's right. He doesn't seem to want to. He has no loyalty.
No. All right, CB update. CB's having a little bit of a decline.
Yeah.
Actually like a lot of a decline.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just want you guys all to know.
He's mentally really, he's not always with it.
I don't think never with it.
I'm not sure. A lot of times he gets up, kind of looks excited, and then clearly doesn't really know what he wants or what's going on.
Mm-mm. We can't get him to go outside without snacks. Like, he looks like he needs to go to the bathroom. And we're like, okay, it's this way. And he like won't go. You got to get a snack to get him to go out.
Yeah, or push him a little bit. Sometimes I push him.
Even I push him sometimes and he won't go.
Yeah.
You can carry him. I'm not strong enough to carry him.
Yes, it's not really a good gauge of his mental health if I'm just carrying him around everywhere.
No. And he definitely gets more anxious than he did.
Yeah, it's not just, I don't think it's just food related anymore. I used to think it was just when he got hungry around, dinner time, but now it kind of can be middle of the day too.
Yeah, I mean, he does still want his extra food, but it's not just that. And he's having some bowel incontinence problems. So he's having occasional accidents in his sleep in the house. So, and it's because he's got some neuropathy, right? Like his back legs don't work very well. If you do the test where you turn their paws, so like the top of their paw is on the ground and they have to like flip it back up, he fails that test miserably.
Yeah, you've once described to me it's like his butt's asleep all the time, or his legs are asleep all the time. Like you can, when you wake up or when your legs are asleep, you can kind of walk on them, but it's not solid and you can't feel your feet.
Yeah,
you know the floor is there, but you can't feel it through your feet or your toes.
Yeah. So that, that's a thing that sort of happens in the spine, and that will affect all kinds of incontinence issues. So that's probably what's going on there. So we've moved him into the quality of life monitoring category, which does not mean that it's like time to say goodbye to him now, but that like we got to start paying closer attention because he is starting to have some failures in like his basic life abilities. Because he's not like suffering, but he's also not super. I think he is uncomfortable. Like the panting that you guys may have just heard in the background, like that. He's got this look on his face, like it's a sort of uncomfortable panting.
Yeah, right.
And then he's got some like confused panting, But he doesn't have a lot of like carefree moments. Occasionally,
Yeah.
but not a lot.
He'll still go in the water, and I think he enjoys it.
Yeah. He
But-
sleeps a lot.
He sleeps a lot, which is, that's nice.
That's fine.
That's nice.
Yeah.
He likes to eat. He likes to sleep.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if he's just eating and sleeping, like that's great. But when he's awake, he's having more difficult times awake than non-difficult times awake. And then some physical stuff. So we're just keeping an eye on him. But
Yeah, I mean, we had him. We took him to the vet once in Maryland because he was so
yeah,
panty. I think we were worried that he had
tumor or something
in his tum, and they checked him out and they said there wasn't anything that they could spot or feel or anything like that, which is good. So we'll just keep doing that and monitoring him, and we have very, I think, good vets who are curious and creative and would spot something if they noticed it.
Yep.
But so far so good.
I don't think he's gonna make it to his quinceañera, which would be like next summer, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Okay. Hurricane.
Whee! Which one is almost the question around here? There was Helene.
Yeah, we weren't even here.
And
for
then
that.
there was.
Or I wasn't here for that. Were we here?
I don't know. Are you asking me?
Were you here for that? I was not
No,
here.
I think we were in Maryland.
We were still in Maryland.
I think we were both in Maryland. You were in somewhere further
I think
away.
I was in England, yeah.
Yeah.
But we were here for this one, but we didn't really get much. We got the outer band, so it was very windy, but not like that kind of windy. It was tropical storm windy.
Yeah, the direction matters a lot for our house since we have ocean on one side, but not the other three sides. If the wind is coming straight from the ocean towards our house, it's the worst scenario.
Yep, it was not though.
It does push the ocean into our yard.
Yep. There was a little bit of storm surge. Like the water's definitely higher than normal. And when we went to bed last night at like 11, it was lapping the top of our seawall, but high tide was at like 3. So I set myself an alarm for 2:30 or 3. And I was like, okay, we're going to see if everything's flooded. And I like looked out the window and it was not. And I was like, great, going back to bed.
And this morning there was some signs of sort of salt water, like the bottom, inch of your car tires had a salt crust on them. So some of the salt water came in a little further, but I don't think it reached the yard.
That's not from our yard. That's from me driving in Key West yesterday through the floodwaters.
Okay, but there was salt on the grass, by where we parked the RV.
That is from spray.
Oh, from the foam, you think?
From spray.
Yeah, all right.
It got up
That's fair.
to, like, by where the ramp is, it got not even all the way to the shower. That's as far in as it came. So it didn't come all the way. But there was a lot of wind off there that would have crusted everything with spray. And then I was driving through the floodwaters in Key West because it was more flooded there because it's lower.
Yes.
So anyway, we're fine. Thank you, everybody, for being worried about us, but we'll totally tell you. Also, people who aren't from here are like, are you guys going to evacuate? Like, I know it's not going to hit the Keys, but are you going to evacuate? So, you don't evacuate until they tell you to evacuate.
Evacuation has such problems also, right? Like, it's not like that's the solution because there's no gas stations in the Keys or very...
We couldn't get any gas on
that's
Wednesday.
Right. They were all taped up. Yeah. So this idea that evacuation actually works with as little notice as this one gave you is just weird, right? You're standing in traffic for 5 hours. You're not going to get very far.
So don't listen to Ingo. If you live in a place where there's an evacuation order, you 100% need to evacuate.
Oh, yeah.
But they give you an order.
Yeah, no, I was thinking like voluntary evacuation. It's not an easy out either. Plus 5 dogs. 6 dogs.
Yeah, and there's like no reason to. Like for people who like move to Florida, like the well-trusted meteorologists at these stations will be like, you don't have to worry until I tell you to worry. Because non-Floridians get real worried. Like, oh my God, there's going to be a tropical storm. And as we say, Ingo, a tropical storm is just rain with a name.
It's just a spicy thunderstorm.
So you don't evacuate until you have an evacuation order. Would we evacuate with an evacuation order? Depends.
Maybe.
It
depends on everything. Dog's condition at the time. What the storm looks like. how confident we are of that we have enough time to get where we need to get going to get out of this whole entire state.
It is, because when you evacuate the Keys, you're evacuating with everybody on the one road. And when people evacuated for Irma, it took them like 12 hours to get out of the Keys.
Yeah, I mean, and then you evacuate to like Tampa, and then the storm turns right, and all of a sudden it came. Wasn't that Ian? Was that Ian or the storm before that? That's what did that, right?
Ian came across the Keys and then over to Cape Coral and then up to South Carolina. And we have steak neighbor here. They have a house in Cape Coral and in Carolina. They got hit 3 times.
They really did. That was really unfair to them. Yeah. But yeah, the contrast to Ian. You were here. I was somewhere.
Ian was a Cat 1 here.
Yeah.
It was like 75 mile an hour winds.
But it flooded here, and
dramatic.
Everything, it definitely hit closer to here. It didn't, I don't even think the eye went here, did it?
No, not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close. It was just close to us.
But it was a real contrast to this one. We got lucky.
No, this was just a light tropical storm here. We have kind of agreed that, like, if it's not a Cat 3, which is a major hurricane, like, we're not going to evacuate. Because Hurricane Irma in 2017 came over our house. Like, we hadn't bought here yet, but our neighbors were here, and they stayed. The people who used to live in Steak Neighbor's house. It was a Cat 5. They stayed, like, the eye passed over. They're like, we went outside for like 20 minutes or whatever it was when the eye was passing over. And it was
as one would, I would.
100%, yes. So, like, the problem is that, like, there can be tornadoes, which there were this time inside a hurricane, and then you're fucked even if you've got a good house because it can rip your roof off. But also then down here, you don't have power or water for a week, and, like, that's really tough.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean that's the problem, is that you're then kind of stuck here.
Yeah.
But that's the flip problem. If you evacuate, you might not be allowed back in.
Which happened with Irma.
Is super frustrating because your house may be mildewing and molding and open to the elements, and there's nothing you can do about it, and that's super frustrating the other way.
Yep. So we've kind of assess each time, but we've kind of agreed if it's less than a Cat 3, we're gonna ride it out. So if you see Category 3 forecast to make landfall in the Florida Keys, then ask. and we might say no, we're going to stay. I don't know that I'd stay for a Cat 4, but maybe for a Cat 3, it depends.
But it also depends on the notice, right? If we have this was such a fast one.
Mm-hmm.
If we have a day's notice, it makes it less likely that we'll
There's no
decide
way.
to.
Because I'd be worried we'd get stuck.
We'd be stuck in the RV, which is a big cardboard box in a storm. It would be terrible. Seems like it's the worst possible situation. Yeah.
So anyway, we appreciate everyone's concern. We were fine, and we won't be evacuating unless it's super serious, and that's like so rare, right? Like hurricanes that strong come through Florida plenty of times each year. I mean, only twice this year, but like the Keys don't get hit that often. We get grazed, we get tropical storms a lot, but I think it was like 10 years. I mean, probably Wilma in 2005, which was like right after. There was Katrina. Katrina came through the Keys, but it wasn't that strong. And then Wilma came after that. That was 2005. That was the last time there was like a really like big, 6 feet of surge kind of storm here.
Yeah, we're a little tucked away. If the storm comes the normal way from the Atlantic, they often go over Cuba and change direction or get weak, or Dominican Republic or
near the Antilles.
Yeah, there's a lot of islands to our south that take some of that have mountains on them and stuff that take a lot of the force away.
Yeah, and either send it out to the Gulf or kind of curve
or they
out.
Turn north and hit Miami or somewhere else first, right? It really is everything has to be right or wrong for it to really hit us from that side.
And if you're not from here, you got to remember, like, our house is built out of concrete blocks, like, and the whole reason it's elevated because of hurricanes. So like it's built to withstand a storm, and it did. I mean, part of the reason we bought this house is that we bought the year after Hurricane Irma, and our house didn't take any damage at all. There were houses we had looked at that got damaged in Irma, in fact. Ours did not.
Destroyed. We were going to rent a house for that winter, and it got destroyed by Irma.
Yes, it sure did.
I mean, caved in.
It had like 8 feet of sand inside of it. Yeah. So our house is very strong against hurricanes, but also like, our water comes from, we've probably talked about this. The water comes from the mainland. It comes from Miami. So there's like a pipe along the one road that's got the water. And so when the pipe cracks, you can't get water. But generally the infrastructure is very hard. Like all of our power lines, like the poles for them, are made out of concrete.
Yeah,
there's some wood ones left, but they replace them when they come down. There's no big trees. Like, you all lose power up north because like branches fall off of trees onto the power lines, but we don't have big trees like that.
No, it's a marked distinction, right? Because when there's a thunderstorm in Maryland or suburban DC, tens of thousands of people lose power frequently.
Yeah, we get storms like that all the
right?
time.
Like an ice storm or a snowstorm means you're going to lose power.
Yeah,
pretty much for hours or half a day. And here we didn't lose any power during the hurricane. Didn't even blink.
Mm-mm. No, and like the day before, there was like another little low pressure system that sped off into the Atlantic. I wasn't home, but you were here. I think we got 6 inches of rain.
Yeah, it really. I mean, we got Lake Queso, and the water flooded the other way from our yard into the ocean.
And that's like fine. Like that just happens.
Yeah, it's a matter. I was thinking about this. We don't feel like it's a life or death situation. Since we're elevated, since we're in a brick house, that survived a hurricane before, it's like a super inconvenience situation.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's exactly right.
Which is significant, and there could be, easily if you get injured, or if you're totally unlucky and a coconut gets shot at your house at 100 miles an hour, sure, something bad could happen.
If you're outside, because we have high velocity hurricane windows and doors. So if there's a 2x4 flying through the air, it's not going to break in.
Right.
They're anchored into the concrete of our walls, so nothing's going to happen there.
Right.
We have solar panels on the way. We're getting those installed. I just signed off another thing on the permit, so those are coming. And we have a Starlink. So even if all of the keys are offline because of a big storm, we will have solar and internet.
Yeah. So the solar with the battery will power the Starlink, which will bounce signals off
satellites.
Yep. Weird.
I just used a Starlink.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was at a Trump rally, doing doing media stuff, not attending as a fan, and connected to a Starlink.
Yeah.
I did TV interviews with the Starlink.
That's cool.
Yeah, Australian TV interviewed me, and I was like, "Yes, hello, this is Jen Goldberg reporting from Butler, Pennsylvania."
And it was very good.
They loved it.
The lag was not significant. I'm used to I grew up in a long time ago when you had interviews like that. The lag was always so bad that it was really hard to do a remote interview. It was like a 10-second lag, right? Yeah. And people would be talking over each other, or there'd be awkward silence, and it was just, yours was very...
Yeah, it was live TV in Australia. It went fine. A tiny lag, but not much.
Oh, yeah, no, completely normal.
Yeah.
I've had worse in Zooms to DC.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So we should talk about what you did during the day of the hurricane.
I went and I took pictures in Key West because I am a professional photojournalist.
This is your new gig now. It's career number 7.
Somebody said you're like Barbie with all your different careers, which I kind of love.
If that makes me Ken, that's cool.
You're just Ken. You're
7 Kens. I'm all the Kens.
Your job is beach.
My job is laundry.
Laundry Ken, beach Ken.
It never sold, but I always liked laundry Ken. Nobody ever wanted to buy the laundry folding guy, but I did.
So I've been, I got this fancy camera in the spring, mostly because I was going to shoot the cover for the next book, the sequel to The Purest Bond, which is coming eventually, but more slowly.
She knew that she's going to use that camera for more than just one.
To be fair, Inga, we've been together for 13 years, and every 2 years, I'm I really want to buy a good camera, but I can't make myself spend the money on it.
It's true.
And I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it.
You bought a pretty good one for the Galapagos trips 5 or 6 years ago, whenever that was.
A $400 camera, yeah.
Yeah, but it was an SLR. It had a zoom. Mm-hmm. At the time, it was a pretty significant camera.
For me, certainly.
Yeah, that's all. But I meant. You definitely were like, I'm going to get a good camera for this trip that is variable and has a zoom.
Yep. It was good. That was a Nikon Coolpix 900, which is actually a great camera. Like, it doesn't take super sharp pictures, but it's got like a built-in optical zoom, so you don't have like a big giant lens, and you can get like 70 times optical zoom, and it was great for that trip.
Yeah. I was gonna say it, but it was a preview of things to come. I didn't realize it was.
I was not gonna buy a $5,000 camera
Then,
and now I bought one, and then like I was taking this photography class over the summer, and it broke. Like one of the pins broke that connect. It's where you can interchange the lenses, and one of the pins broke off. And I was like, I'm literally in the middle of class.
Because you're so strong.
I don't know. It should not happen.
So strong.
So I was like, I have to send it out to get repaired. It's under warranty, but I need to be taking pictures for my class. So what I'm going to do is like buy another one, and then when the first one gets fixed, I'll just return the first one. And and then it turned out it took like a month for them to fix it. And they're like, look, we can't fix it. But can we just send you a new one? And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. So then I had two, and I was like, all right, I need to return the other one. But turns out it was outside the return window. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll sell it on eBay. And then I hemmed and hawed and finally I was like, you know what, I'm going to keep it. And it was a great decision. So now I have like a long lens on one and a short lens on the other.
It's so important to save yourself the trouble of changing lenses.
You don't understand, and that's okay. Can you imagine me changing lenses out in that storm yesterday with like that salt spray coming in?
I have two different cars too, so I can avoid changing the towels in the back seat.
Well, I took my two cameras into Key West yesterday, and
it was excellent. I had everything you needed, and changing lenses in the driving rain would have been a disaster, or the spraying surf. For sure.
So I certainly bring them to the Trump rallies, and I took a bunch of pictures in Butler last week, and then I brought them here, and I spent the summer like taking pictures at stuff and like making a little portfolio, and because I'm like, nobody wants my pictures, but I'm going to make a portfolio. And I found like a photo agency that like put stuff on the newswire, and I was like, here's my portfolio. And they're like, great, if you have stuff, like just send it to us and we'll put it on the wire. So I sent them my stuff from Butler, and then it goes out to like all the news agencies, and then I sent them my stuff from Key West. And on Tuesday I get like a Google News alert for my name for like when stuff I write shows up, and I had written this article for HuffPost, and that was in there. And then there was the thing from Mother Jones, and I was like, I didn't do an interview with Mother Jones. I wonder if they like quoted a tweet of mine or something. And instead they used one of my pictures from Butler as like their picture.
The dude with sunglasses with the
MAGA sunglasses.
MAGA sunglasses, yeah.
They say make great America again.
Of course they do.
And
it's illiterate.
and I cried. Because I was like, look, I've been working so hard to learn to do this. And like, I sold my first picture. Isn't this great?
Yeah.
And so that was on Tuesday.
Wait, do you get money for that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's even better. I thought they just used it and give you credit. Like,
no.
Oh, this is nice.
They pay to license it.
Oh, that's cool.
And I get like 60% of whatever they pay. So I don't know what that is. I don't know what
$1.25.
The cheapest you can license it for is $35.
Okay.
And so that would be like if I put a picture.
Oh, so you get like $20 from that.
Yeah, but like the more viewers you have, the more you pay. So I could get like $150 for that one picture.
Cool.
And so then I took these pictures in Key West of the hurricane. And if you follow us on Instagram, I've been like putting them in the story. I have an account, an Instagram account where
it's secret. No, it's not.
It's kind of secret. No, if you follow us on Instagram, I've linked to it. And I took these pictures in Key West of like people, like windsurfing in the hurricane, getting splashed by the hurricane.
Wading through the water. Yeah.
And I uploaded those to the photo agency, and they went out on the wire. And this morning I checked myself, and the LA Times used one, and the New York Post used one, and they used a picture of Elon Musk that I took at the rally. So I went from like one of my pictures got used on Tuesday, and I cried. And then today 3 more got used. And then You're
still not bored. You're not even bored yet.
I checked it this afternoon, and I was like, I wonder if anybody else picked one up. And 175 other publications.
Wow.
Used my pictures, all different pictures that I took in Key West.
They were good pictures. It was the classic like palm trees bent over in the wind pictures with cool foregrounds.
Yeah. So
people like pictures with people in the foreground, Jen.
Ingo and I have had this ongoing. Yes. He's like, I baited her into the rant.
Ingo wins one.
Ingo's like, long ago in our relationship, he's like, you got to have a person in the foreground.
I'm sure it was during the Galapagos trip when
God.
I was giving useless. You had this awesome camera and knew what to do with it, and I'm like here with my phone and giving useless advice.
And he's like, my dad says, this was definitely my dad says, pictures are better with people in the foreground. So like they'll go to all these places and then they'll just have a person stand in the foreground. Like this is their idea. Like photos are more interesting with people.
It's not
so just
terrible.
Ingo, stand in front of the Arc de Triomphe.
It's not terrible.
Just terrible.
It's not just terrible.
Like, that's right. You went to, like, picture it's the 1980s and someone is showing you the slide fucking show of their vacation.
Yeah, we did have slideshows.
Yeah, I mean,
Here's another angle of the Grand Canyon.
And
Here,
so
you have to imagine it's really big.
You saw this great wonder of the world, and instead you got like some rando standing in front of it. Like
it's me, some rando from the Burkhardt family.
Make it more interesting. I don't go like, wow, this picture of the Arc de Triomphe is so much better with like Ingo standing there like on the sidewalk in front of it with like a little bleh expression on his face. Oh, here's Ingo standing. In fact, when I got married the first time.
What expression?
When I got married the first time, we went to Paris for our honeymoon. I mean, it was like, I think my like third or fourth trip outside the country. It was his first.
Yeah.
And he insisted on getting his picture taken in front of everything.
See? This is why you reacted so negatively to my perfectly legitimate photo composition advice.
Absolutely not. I think it is so dumb to have tourist photos where it's like,
now you do because it's PTSD.
Nope, that's not it. Though at the time, like this was pre-social media, right? I got married in 2001, so we had a website. Oh, I'm gonna have to cut that out because people could go find it on the Internet Archive.
I haven't even seen that. .org. .org.
We were an organization.
This is funny. Gargle Web Design probably made that.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. Yes, that was my web design company out of undergrad. When I got divorced, I was, still maintaining like this website and a blog, and so I changed the domain name to be. And this guy that I went to college with, he's like, it's so funny that you were like, and then like literally the next day it was just.
It's kind of like a Facebook status update.
You guys are gonna go see Baby Jen.
I just switched out my ex against dogs. Status update: ditched eggs got dog.
I'm gonna have to make sure I didn't say anything embarrassing. I think I probably did.
Well, we'll have to. You have first clear that.
I can't.
And then release this. No. First, make sure it's okay.
Oh yes,
and
podcast
then release
is not
this
coming
unedited.
out.
So if you hear this podcast and it's bleep.org, then you know it's worth looking for.
I like leaving in the whole discussion and just bleeping out.
Yeah.
The website.
This is how
I'm going to do that anyway. I actually don't care what's up there. I'm just going to bleep them out. So
she does enjoy a good challenge.
That's way funnier. Anybody who wants a picture of me and my first husband? Actually, I'll send you one and I'll put an emoji over his face. Because I don't have his permission. And
that is not exactly helpful. Who wants a picture of an emoji face?
Who wants a picture of like some random dude standing in front of the Arc de Triomphe?
Me.
Would you be like, oh, Jen, like here's you in Paris in college.
Yeah.
With like some random person from your UN team standing in front of the Arc de Triomphe. You're like, that's more interesting than just a picture of the Arc de Triomphe.
Yep.
You really think that?
Look, not with everything. But for example, something like the freaking Grand Canyon, which is just like incomprehensibly large or something, it helps to put scale to something and helps to give depth.
Then you need the person in the bottom of the Grand Canyon, not standing on the rim.
I'm not throwing anyone into the bottom of the Grand Canyon just for a picture, Jen, you monster. Boy.
Ooh, I'm a monster now.
You're not you are proposing throwing someone down the Grand Canyon to get the picture better. That's Daffy Duck. That's Roadrunner style violence.
It's not my proposal.
Meep meep. I know it's not what you said. Anyway, I think you're a very good photographer. Stop talking. Oh. I think you're a great photographer. Those are good pictures. I look at those and I'm like, damn, those are freaking press pictures.
Thank you.
You had one with a dog and a
guy
dude
carrying his dog. Yep.
But organically the guy was carrying his dog. It's not like you were like, hey, pick up your dog. Make your dog smile.
Fun story. Like they were there's a pier in Key West, and the end of the pier always floods when there's a storm.
I know, it's weird. It's on top of the water, like a pier, but it floods with water when it's marginally higher storm tide or high tide.
I mean, the dog could swim, so it was like 3 feet of water. And so I watched them go out there, and I was like, I got to get a picture of this guy and his dog. And I have like 700 pictures of them because I'm just like holding the shutter down. And he picks up the dog and starts carrying him. And I was like, great, like I'm getting one of these. And I got one, and like his shirt's pulled up so you can kind of see his belly. I mean, he's his
six pack.
I don't know that he quite had a six pack, but like he looked fine. I was not embarrassing him by having his shirt up, but he's like, knee deep in the water, and the dog's got this great look. And so when he came out, he saw I was taking his picture and he was fine with it. And when he came out, I was like, what's your dog's name? And he's like, my dog's name is Java. And I was like, hi, Java. And like Java's looking at me. I'm like, do you want your picture taken? And I hold the camera up, and Java like smashed her nose into the camera.
Bloop.
And I'm like, all right, these are funny. I'm like, I can't use them, but I was looking at them, and you can see Java's tag. And so it had his name,
nice,
Justin, and his phone number. And then like 3/4 of the frame is the dog's nose. And so I texted him. I was like, hey, Justin, like, I'm that person who was taking your picture yesterday, and you're in the LA Times. Like, here's a link. And he's like, oh, my God, this is so great.
That's great.
So
he's famous.
He was really
he and his
excited.
dog are famous.
I was like, here's the picture. And it's in the New York Post, too. So he was.
That's great.
It was great to be able to be like, hey, look at your famous in here.
It's like those drunk guys on the dock, too. Also wanted to be in the paper.
Yes, I took a bunch. Someone gave me the advice that was just like, if people ask you to take their picture, take it.
Because it's all free now.
That's right. It doesn't cost you anything. Take the picture. And so, there were a couple of like drunk guys at Higgs Beach, and they're like, take our picture, take a picture. I'm like, okay. And then, man, they were talking at me. They were so drunk.
They had things to say to you, very nicely. They were very friendly, but they just clearly were taking their time, and they had time to tell stories.
They did. I couldn't understand a thing they were saying.
It was pretty. They were real drunk.
They were so drunk. Whatever. Everybody had a good time. I had a great time. I had so much fun taking pictures. Yeah.
And I was all whiny. I was like, the surf it hurts my face. It's getting whipped into my face by the hurricane strength wind. And you're like, this is the best thing ever. Let's get closer. Let's get flooded. Let's get under this tidal wave. And I'm just like, my feet are getting wet. I don't like it.
That's true. So I brought Ingo home, and then I went back by myself.
That's true. I could, quote unquote, take care of the dogs. Well, you quote unquote did cool stuff.
I mean, look, like I spent half an hour at one beach, like waiting for some windsurfers to go out in the hope I would get a good windsurfing picture.
Which is exactly what I used to do that as a kid too. I used to drive my parents crazy. Like we went to the National Zoo, and I was like waiting outside the white tiger's enclosure for 20 minutes to get the shot of the tiger like coming up the stairs at me. My mom was like, we're leaving. We're going to like the ape monkey cage. This is ridiculous. And I was like, I'm just going to get this shot. Hang on.
I love that. I love like baby photographer Ingo.
Yeah. This was I think a disc camera, Jen.
Oh, old school.
You don't remember this except in a museum.
I know they existed.
They had disc. Well, that was the cooler version of a camera. Yeah. Anyway, but so I get it. And I get that you don't want, someone hanging around.
Do you think she needs to go out?
Waiting. Oh, Ella?
Yeah.
Probably.
You want to take her?
Okay.
I'm just under more equipment than you. All right, another accident averted. Good job.
And then what did we do the evening of the hurricane?
We went back into Key West and had some drinks.
Went to a tiki bar.
Went to the tiki bar. It was open. It was fine.
This is a tiki bar. I don't know if we've said this before. I've always thought about tiki bars in Key West. I mean, you think that it's a problem making drinks at volume. Because they take a while to make, right?
Tiki drinks do take a while to make, yeah.
Yeah, they got a lot of different ingredients and drinks, juices and stuff. But these guys have it in like kegs.
Pony kegs. They do mix them themselves, and then they have them on tap. So they mix it each day.
Yeah.
I mean, actually probably multiple times a day. And so you order one, and they can just like pull it out of the tap, and it's like fresh mixed tiki drink.
So I think it's most of the ones that are on their menu. They'll just, you order the monkey hut, and then they'll go over and just to a tap and fill your glass from a tap, and then put the garnish in.
Awesome.
And it tastes really good.
Good.
There is no sense that it is, chemical or anything like that, or cheap ingredients. It is clearly well made.
No, yeah,
but at volume.
So highly recommend. This is the Tiki House. It's next to Sloppy Joe's.
Yeah, if you're in Key West, we've tried Sloppy Joe's and the drinks weren't good.
It's a tourist bar, right? It's a bar to go to say that you went there.
But they weren't great. It is. It's got more bouncers than people in it sometimes.
Yeah, you get a lot of bros there.
Yeah, but right next door, friendly tiki bar with live entertainment every night.
I love it. It's great. It's become like one of our favorite places.
Yeah,
I'll just be like, could we just go get tea drinks tonight?
Because they're real good. They're real easy to go to. Yeah. We like.
In the background, you're hearing Ella and Guac's special relationship.
Guac is still way too angry sounding, but Ella doesn't care at all.
She loves him so much. And she like, none of the other puppies play with Guac like this, but she goes up and kind of like...
Because he's scary.
Chomps on him a little, and he like makes angry sounds, but he really likes it.
And then he puts her whole head in his mouth because he's got a big mouth and she's got a small head, and she thinks it's the best.
She's like, ooh, I'm learning boundaries, and also I love him.
Also not really learning boundaries.
She stops biting him, though, when he makes a little angry face. You know, she's learning. And he thinks it's great.
Yeah. He's also learning to, like, not completely freak out and get overly emotional.
Guac, you're a good boy.
Now he's eating a chew stick.
Oh, good.
He's gotten into toys recently instead of just emotional support stuffies.
And what's she doing in there? Can you see her?
No, she's in the closet.
Ella.
Oh.
Okay, Ella is back. We just talked for like 5 minutes and didn't record it.
Why not?
I guess I mashed the wrong button. Oh, sorry, just didn't mash the right button. So anyway, what I was saying is the thing I had written down to do was to talk about the time I played roulette with John Hamm, but I think we don't have time because I have to go do this guest lecture.
This is a good running bit. Because she may never get to this story, but it's a great tease, and you'll never know if it happened or not.
It absolutely happened.
Sure, maybe. Wait till the next podcast.
It was a night full of regrets, but not because I played roulette with John Hamm. Maybe because you weren't there.
Maybe, but I think
sure
it's great.
I invited you to come with me.
That you never have to tell the story if you keep saying, wait for the next. It's like those signs in bars that are like free beer tomorrow. It never comes. You never get the free beer. You never get the story of allegedly John Hamm.
No, he was definitely there and we played roulette together.
Yeah, we all have, wait for the story, guys.
Yeah, well.
Was it or was it not?
Next week we're going to record on Tuesday.
What? We are?
Yeah, because I'm leaving on Wednesday for a week.
We can't plan these things. What kind of organization do you think we're running here? An organization?
I mean, I'm in charge, so...
An organized organization?
Yeah, I'm very organized.
I don't even know what day it is.
You're saying
Thursday. It's Tuesday?
Today's Thursday. We're recording next Tuesday.
What part of the world are you going to be in?
I'm first going to Connecticut, then to Maryland, then to Sandiego, then to Atlanta, and then back to the Keys. That is what I'm doing for the week.
This is all I'm saying is... I don't even know. This is Finding Door. What's this? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
You are Carmen Santiago?
Sandiego.
Yeah?
Oh, there was like was it a Nickelodeon game show?
Yeah.
Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did Where in the World is Matt Lauer for a while, but that was before he was kind of creepy.
Oh. Well. I'm not creepy, nor do I have Carmen Sandiego's cool hat.
You sure it's Sandiego, not Santiago?
I'm quite certain.
Huh. Is it the Berenstein Bears or the Berenstein Bears?
It's the Berenstein Bears, and I don't care what anybody says.
Berenstein.
I know.
Man, I read those as a kid, by the way. Those Berenstein Bears. They were dumb and mean.
All right, let me see if I can play you the theme song for Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego.
Throwback. I can't hear anything.
It's because it's not doing it.
I can't hear anything, Jen.
Like you. Is right. Nice job. Congratulations to the winner.
No,
where's the theme song?
Hang on. All right, hang on. I think I got it here. Let's smash play on this.
Oh. Whoa.
Well, she sneaks around the world from Kiev to Carolina.
Yeah.
Sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. She'll take you for a ride on a slow boat to China. Tell me, where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego?
Whoa.
Soul in South Korea.
Yeah, right? This is a real throwback for people my age.
Wow, they could put that out today, and
It's a banger, right?
It would do well on Spotify.
I know. Maybe we
Wow.
should make it a TikTok trend.
Where in the world is
Carmen, Sandiego.
I don't think that's ridiculous. This thing's a bang. It's got a hook. It's got some geography. It's got some 80s throwback feel. Was that 80s? Or was it thousands, 2000s, 90s? Yeah, it was this is cool. Anyway, you're like that. Where in the world is Jennifer? Go back. Jennifer, go back.
Who knows, man? Who knows? You guys, it's just... I'm not going to tell you all my plans, but it's just going to get spicier. Ingo, the plans, like, as we go forward through the fall, have Ingo just going like, I mean, okay.
I guess.
Like,
What am I going to do? Stop you physically? I can't. You're too strong.
if that's what you want to do...
You're too strong and you make all the money. What am I going to do? I can't. I have no power in this relationship.
If you told me no, I would talk you into it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I like that you don't tell me no.
I mean, I still haven't found a great reason to tell you no. Yeah, there you go.
I've had body armor. I'm fine.
I don't own you.
No, that's fair. There's a whole song about that.
What? You don't own me?
You don't own me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not just one of your many toys.
It's like, that's an older song, I guess, 60s song, right? Or
It's
70s?
actually a real feminist banger. Yeah.
Yeah?
It's a great one.
Is it as good as I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar?
Well,
From
that's
Helen
up for
Reddy?
debate, I guess. Yeah. So
Tuesday, you're saying?
Tuesday.
We don't know when it's going to drop, but we'll record on Tuesday.
We'll record Tuesday, and I will start. We'll do it no rules, and I will start the podcast with me playing roulette with John Hamm in Las Vegas at the NHL Awards in 2011.
Maybe. Or it'll be the one after that. Or
Who
will
knows?
it? I love this teasing stuff. You don't like it. I think it's great.
I'm glad you do. All right, I got to get ready to go do a guest lecture.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for listening, and until next time, Slava Ukraini, and don't bet anyone unless they ask you to.
What do you think, Brody?